What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Today, we're going to be talking all about the Raphael deck of fate, how best to handle it, how best to complete it, and what it's going to cost you. So right now, we have the Hothead deck of fate in game right now. It's a 4-day event. You got Raphael in this deck of fate. He is a fragment champion. So once you collect these 100 fragments, he's going to be in your portal, so you can summon him anytime, so you can get some additional value for like CVC or champion chase or something like that. His 100 fragments will be in 21 cards. Now, don't think that you can pull 21 fragment cards of Raphael and then call it a day. The odds of that happening, I believe, are like 1 in a billion or something. Approximately half of you will be pulling 39 cards. So most of us should expect to pull all 40 cards to get Raphael. I think the math is 20% of you will complete Raphael by the 37th card. So the odds are definitely not with us. So we must prepare to basically pull all 40 cards. If you can't prepare to pull 40 cards and you're still gambling for Raphael, then it's going to be a pretty big gamble. Some other goodies in this deck of fate, we got a Void Shard, we got Primal Shard, we have a Legendary book as well. A little bit light, I guess, but you know, it is a book, a Void Shard, and a Primal Shard, so it's not so bad. Also, as a last minute addition to this, there is pinned rarity added to this deck of fate, which is actually a nice little surprise. As of yesterday, it was noted that there was no pin rarity, and that was what was announced. And then they announced that there was a last second update. So this is really nice. So basically, once you get a rarity that you want, you can kind of just pin it, which means it just stays there. And then basically guaranteeing you at least one kind of shot. If you complete the whole deck of fate, for example. You can basically pin your epic, first one, and then as you get the second and third epics, you will get the reward. So it kind of basically guarantees you at least these combo rewards. And the sooner you pick up these high level rarities, the sooner you can get the pins going on them. My suggestion would be to always pin the highest rarity that you pick up. So for example, if you get the blue ones first, then you just pin that one until you get 3 blue ones, or until you get one of the purple ones. And then you go with the purple pins. Anyways, if you're lucky enough to get some of these rewards, those are really, really nice, of course. So it's a little bit of additional value. So how are we getting points towards this deck of fate? It's going to be dungeon diving, so gear hunting, or soulstone. So this is something that we know. And this is, yeah, one of the surprises in this deck of fate is basically this price of this soulstone is a little bit expensive. For example, here we have 3,500 for the big soulstone, 700 for the immortal soulstone, and 70 for the mortal soulstone. Yeah, it's the same kind of conversion rate. Basically, the big one is worth 5 middle ones, and the middle one is worth 10 of the small ones. It's the same conversion rate. They just mess around with the points a little bit. I think when it's a champion in the deck of fate, it gets towards the lower the lower values. So for example, Freya was 3,660. So Freya was particularly expensive. This deck of fate is not as bad as Freya. Obviously some higher values here. We recently just had a Grey Coast Turndrake, and Grey Coast Turndrake, I believe, was 4,880. And then we've seen, you know, as generous as 4,500, 990, but I think those might be for non-champion related ones. But anyways, we got a 7,700, 3,500, so it's a little bit expensive. And in terms of the dungeon cost here, slightly better than Grey Coast, but still, you know, it is what it is, not super great. We're going to be doing a calculator and the efficiency breakdown for you guys to make sure that you guys are tackling the right dungeons and using your energy efficiently. All right, guys, so this is a spreadsheet I put together for you guys here. This chart is from, not even sure this is a word, but NGHIAQH. So thank you so much for compiling this chart. It's based off data off of the HH stage tool. But basically just shows you where you know, you want to spend your energy, which dungeon stage will give you the most points per energy for this deck of fate. Now, if you're looking to spend basically, you know, all your resources to get Raphael, it's going to cost you 40,000 points to basically complete the deck of fate. And I do have this calculator here. I'll show you guys in the spreadsheet how to use it, and then I'll pin the spreadsheet in the description below. And then you guys can make a copy and then use this if you guys want to. But what's interesting about this efficiency chart here is that it shows that the event dungeon gives you the most points per energy. Now, this has been the case for dungeon divers. I think as long as the event dungeon has been active. Stage 3 for the event dungeon is particularly efficient for dungeon diving. Not necessarily doing the tournaments, but for dungeon diving, it's very efficient. More efficient than stage 20, which is usually what's recommended for energy efficiency. So you can kind of see here you're getting 1.24 energy per the 1.24 points per energy by doing stage 3 of the event dungeon only, not the other dungeons, event dungeon only. The reason why is that it doesn't drop brews and it drops a disproportionate amount of artifacts relative to the other dungeons. So event dungeon 3, ridiculously efficient. And then we see, for example, I've listed the most efficient dungeons right here. And they're in order of efficiency. So we have level 3, we level event level 7, event level 2, event level 11, and then we have level 20 for all the dungeons. All dungeons are the same for level 20, and then we have level 24, and then we have basically the hard levels, hard 10 down to 1. So yeah, you can kind of see here, event level 3 is significantly more efficient than hard 10. It's like almost 50% more efficient. So you're going to be saving 50% of energy. So let's just put this in perspective here, right? So we're looking for 40,000 points. If you just want to do this strictly from energy, let's say I spend 10,000 energy. How much am I going to get? I'm only going to get 12,400 points. So that's not going to cut it, right? So if you want to do this strictly from energy, the cheapest place to do it is Event Dungeon 3. That's going to be the biggest tip for you guys here. And it's going to cost you probably about, about 32,000 energy. Let's see. Yeah, just about 32,000 energy. And just about 9,900 gems. If you want to do it strictly from energy. And the most efficient place will be level 3. And for comparison's sake, we can basically go to hard 10 and then just do the calculation here as well. I think it's going to be about 48,000. Yeah, so about 48,000 energy on hard 10, and then you're going to be clearing 40,000 points. So you're basically spending, like I said, 50% more energy doing hard 10 than you are doing level 3. Now, obviously, up to you and your account, whether you want to do level 3, which basically just going to give you nothing except for silver, and level 10, hard 10, for dungeons, which is going to give you the possibility of gear and all that. So it really depends how valuable this is, but if you just strictly want to conserve energy, then level 3 will be the best bang for your buck. Obviously, you guys can fill in the rest here with whatever you guys want to do in terms of preference. I think if you're going to go with the non-gear, like basically no gear dungeons, no usable gear dungeons, you might as well go all the way down to 3, which is the most efficient, and then basically don't even bother with like 7 and 2 and stuff like that. If you want to do like a mix, level 20 is not too bad. It's almost a 1-to-1 conversion. But yeah, you guys can fill that out for yourselves. And then in terms of overall soul stones, if you guys want to complete this 40,000 deck of fate with just mortal soul stones here, we are probably looking at what, like 500. So 500 gives you 35,000 points, so it's going to be more than 500. So just with mortals, just under 600. Yeah, just under 600. So you're looking at like 570 or something. Yeah, about 570 mortal soul stones. So that means it's going to be about 57 medium ones. And then this one would be about 11 big guys. Yeah, 11 big guys. So yeah, it's definitely on the expensive side, 70, 700, 3,500. So you're going to have to mix and match here. You're going to need soul stones. You're going to need energy. Here's something else to consider as well. There's actually going to be a 2x ancient event that's happening right now. So if you guys are pulling ancient shards, if you guys pull a legendary, you guys are going to get 2 legendaries for a price of 1. I would consider pulling ancient shards first and then get that out of the way if you're planning to do this event, because you never know, you might pull Raphael and then you might pull Raphael, right? And then you'll be kind of upset. You also might pull a champion that you you might actually want. And then when you pull your soul stones, you can add them to your wish list and all that. So that's just being a little bit, just organize yourself a little bit better that way. The other thing is, as you pull soul stones, you're going to get basically coins towards more soul stones. You can also sell stuff in your collection to get more coins as well, to get more soul stones. Now, looking ahead a little bit here, just so you guys can plan out how to spend your energy. We have the Hothead Deck of Fate lasting until the end of Friday. Now, this is going to overlap with some dungeons here, so namely the Spider Tournament. So like I said, Spider Tournament level 10, stage 10, not hard 10, gives you a disproportionate amount of points efficiency for your energy. So maybe consider doing 10 to clear the tournament, as well as get points towards your Deck of Fate. And also, there's going to be a Shredder's Wrath tournament happening during the Hothead Deck of Fate. So if your plan was to do event dungeon level 3, you might want to consider doing it during this tournament. Now, keep in mind that the level 3 trick doesn't actually work for dungeon tournaments. It works for the gear hunter / dungeon diver version of the event. It doesn't work. It's not disproportionate in terms of point efficiency for the dungeon tournaments. So you're not going to get a lot of points per level 3 run, but you're technically double dipping for 2 dungeon events. So, for example, if you're going to put like a bajillion energy into stage 3 anyway, you might as well put it into stage 3 when the Shredder's Wrath dungeon tournament is on. So at least you get credit for both. Also, at the tail end of the Deck of Fate, there's also going to be a Fire Knight tournament as well, where you can get some additional points. Now, if you don't care about, gear and all that stuff, and you just want to conserve your energy, then obviously stage 3 of the event dungeon is the way to go, regardless of these other dungeon events that are happening at the same time. There's also going to be a training tournament that's happening during the Hothead Deck of Fate as well. So there is opportunities here to basically triple dip if you like. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So for example, if you go into the dungeon here, you go to the event dungeon, and I'll show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. So for stage 3, let's see here. So what I've been doing is I've basically just been taking any nuker, 1 nuker in, and bringing 4 food. So this is really, really nice because in this calendar, like I was saying, right here. So during this little block of time, you have the training event active, you have the Hothead Deck of Fate, and then you also have the Shredder's event happening as well. And you can basically just do a run here on stage 3 with 1 nuker and 4 food. You can farm gear, so gear points towards the dungeon tournament, as well as the Hothead Deck of Fate, and you can farm 4 food at the same time. You can clear here. It's only going to take 1 second, so it's really, really fast. You get a bunch of pizza points and all that, so it's super efficient. So what, we spent 8 energy, we got 9 pizza points very easily. But keep in mind that you're not going to keep any of the gear. All right, guys, that's going to be it for the video. Hopefully this video was helpful and informative for you guys. Gives you guys a better sense of what to expect for this Deck of Fate for the next couple of days. I will pin this spreadsheet in the description below so you guys can get access to it and play around with the calculator if you guys want to, just to double check your resources and all that. And yeah, keep in mind it's a 4-day event, so we'll have 4 days worth of, basically areas to get energy from. So you guys can factor that into your calculations as well. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think, what you guys are planning to do. Thanks for watching until the end. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.